you want to say?
Yeah.
No, I was just going to ask, can I bring my play up and how
Whatever
it
you
ties
wanna bring
into
up.
my art? Okay.
Whatever bring up. Okay. We're actually live right now. This is the Fantasy in Color podcast. I'm Rob Ayala. To my left is
Evan Bishop.
To my right,
KATORI Walker.
and we got Christy Ayala in the business. I think she just ate a grape, so she can't speak.
Yeah, hi.
So I'm so happy to have you guys here. We actually just had a beautiful dinner.
Delicious. Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys are artists with food as well.
Exactly. I think they knew that. They could tell that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to have you guys because you guys, we've known you for a while. We've done many events together. And I know a lot of your journey. But I actually don't know everything. So I'm actually interested to know some of your beginnings as well. And I think our listeners, a lot of people that follow you guys, would be definitely interested to know some of your backstories. So I think we're supposed to do ladies first. That's
Yes.
No?
Yeah.
Okay, I got the sign to say. So I'm a gentleman, so I wasn't gonna do ladies first.
Thank you.
But I got the signal that wasn't happening. So y'all didn't see that, but so we're gonna do gentlemen first.
Pass the Dutchie. Okay. Evan Bishop, graphic artist. I think that the day I knew that I was going to be an artist was when I was 4 years old.
That's early.
Yeah, I just kind of did the hallways in the house, and Mom's was crazy mad, and I just declared that I was an artist. But always gravitated to comic books, graphics. Born in the 70s, I was given a platform of graffiti art, so when I became a teenager and no longer wanted to paint inside the lines and listen to art teachers in school, train yards became the new school. You know, jumping on the trains, going to the train yards, exploring graffiti art. And what graffiti art did for me is give me permission to go as big as I want and do what I want without the rules and regulations of all the other art forms that I was witnessing in school. And those were formative years and important years for me because what it did is it gave me an understanding for color theory. I learned characterization. I learned lettering.
All from doing graffiti.
Graffiti, absolutely.
What were your stomping grounds?
The train yard that we went to most was the one train underground train yard between 137th and 142nd, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that was right on the one line. You know, I'm from the Bronx, so that was close enough. We also went to the C's and D's. We went down to the A train, underground yards. The good thing about me is that I wasn't a vandal. I wasn't a thug, and not to say that all graffiti artists are given that brand, but I wasn't about destroying things. I was about beauty and color.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of great graph legends that I looked to, specifically Scene. You know, looking at his work was over the top because it wasn't just about the words, it was about the concepts. And it gave me permission to dream big and to go big. So I began to explore with aerosol art, went the formal route, got a college degree. The beautiful story is that actually one of the things that helped me to avoid a lot of the drama of being a graffiti artist is that my mom was gangster because she gave me permission to spray paint in my room.
Nice.
Yeah, not so nice because the day I learned that I can do that, she stole my cans. So I thought I was about to go out bombing, and I noticed that my stash was no longer there.
She didn't want you to do it in the street.
Oh, she did not want me in the streets. And so her logic is you're gonna do it. Yeah. I realized I cannot tell you to stop doing it. So one night I came in, she had 2 fans and gave me a respirator. And she said, every day that you paint in your room, you got to sleep in the living room. So I think after a while, there was like a little dent in the living room where I used to sleep on the floor because I would go in there. So while my friends would be jumping the turnstiles and doing all that crazy shit just to get noticed, I was going home, and her rule was you cannot have friends. This is not a community thing.
This is
you want to paint, you paint. And I did the damn thing.
So you have 4 walls to play with?
4 walls. She said you can do whatever you want, however you want. Yeah.
Tell them about that painting you did and you had to fix it.
Oh shit! So she was like, you can go do what you want to do. So one of my idols was Vaughn Baudet. He used to have a comic book series called Cheech the Wizard, and you know, voluptuous women with breasts and all that. So I'm gonna do this piece. My mother said I can do it. I was about 13, 14.
Yeah.
So she said I can go. So I did this piece of this woman on this wall.
She have clothes on?
No, she had no damn clothes on.
At that age, we're like, wait.
So I'm so proud of it. She's like, how's it going? I'm like, it's going well. And it's time to reveal it. And grandma comes in and
Grandma.
and one of her hands is like down in her panties type of thing. I was a kid, man. I just wanted to explore. Between my mother my grandmother crying and running out, and my mother giving me that look of death, I was like, okay, I gotta change something up.
Man.
But what it did is it gave me the platform. As I said, I didn't have to sneak out. I would just go into my room and just recreate and practice and learn techniques and trial and error. And that just gave me, what it did is it gave me permission to do it my way. I didn't have to be part of a crew. I didn't have to follow anybody to do it. I saw some raunchy shit on the train, so I think the anxiety of jumping on the third rail, it was no longer fun. It was like, it's like heart pound. Yeah,
exactly.
And I witnessed some things I'd rather not even say, but it made me realize that that's not the route.
Okay. So how did you transition into actual painting though?
That was always hand in hand with graph,
Okay.
So it was like, as I said, the formal classes, the art classes, they would teach you techniques.
And you mean in school?
In school, yeah, nothing
Okay.
over the top. My mother wasn't paying for nothing extra.
Okay.
Born and raised in the
And in that era, what was the art? Because I don't know how much art they have in schools these days. What was art like as far as them teaching it in school?
It was, just
Basics.
it was limited.
Okay.
There wasn't too many classes, but I mean the school I went to, they had an art program,
Okay.
and the teacher, he was open enough he saw the talent in me and saw that I wasn't going to stay inside the line, so he kind of let me do my
Okay.
shit on the side because he saw that there was something to offer.
Got you.
So we went that. So I appreciate him for that, as opposed to trying to control it.
Okay.
But what it did is it made me realize that the aerosol can, it was my friend, and I've been having a can of paint in my hand since I was 12, 13.
And still to this day, it's in your arsenal.
Absolutely. Every piece, I'm gonna try to find some way to use it to blend, to give texture.
Right now, you're
to
working on a
emphasize.
project right now. Behind you.
Oh yeah, I'm doing murals. Masuko's Champion Factory in the Bronx. He's it's an MMA gym.
Okay.
And my son goes there. He's a black belt there. But what he's done is he's given me a space. He was like, yo, just create. Whenever
Just like your moms did back then.
Exactly. Just do
Full
it your way.
surface.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just really trusting my artistry and allowing me to get my paint on. So.
But how many, I know it's hard to count, but how many, how much art do you have out there when it comes to spray painting?
On walls?
Yeah.
Not many. I mean, I was honored to do, this time last year is when we did that mural in South Broadway in Yonkers. So, I mean, it's a medium that I'm comfortable with,
But you transitioned it to canvas into to not having to be on a mural on a wall.
Right. There's little techniques that I can use with spray paint that will give me the desired results.
Yeah.
For blends
Yeah.
and textures that I would otherwise have to do a lot more with acrylics.
So we're gonna get into more of current,
Absolutely.
but I want to stop you right there before you get too current, so we can go back into your back in the days. It wasn't that back in the days.
Yeah.
Probably 10, 15 years ago when you were a young girl.
Yeah, when I was like 12, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I had no idea that I was going to be an artist. And I went to a Catholic school. I lived a very sheltered life. I grew up
And where were we in the?
So in that time, I was living in Puerto Rico and St. Thomas.
See, that's important.
Wow,
I
I didn't
wasn't.
know
That
that.
wasn't in my imagination when you
Yeah,
told my
me
story.
neither.
I thought you was in Yonkers.
So part of my life was there, so I was exposed to a lot of different color and, pottery was more the thing over there, but there was art there too.
Okay.
And then here I was in a Catholic school, and so in high school I did do some artwork, but I was told by my teacher that she didn't like my work.
How old were you at this time?
I must have been like 14.
Okay.
And she was told me twice in my life, because I didn't tell you
I know,
this
we'll
story.
get to that,
We'll get to
yeah.
that. But she didn't like my artwork. In order to pass my class, I will never forget, I was drawing this guitar. It was abstract, right? So
Yeah.
abstract, you think you could do whatever you want.
Exactly.
But I used to just pick crazy colors, and it was what I was feeling. Art for me was more of a feeling than learning about how the colors vary
That's
and
what
all
it should
that.
be, I think.
And so she didn't like it, and she said I would fail if I didn't make certain changes. I think it was turning 2 or 3 of the colors into another color that was complementary, that would look better in her eyes, and I didn't want to do it. And so, I went to my mom, and she was just like, follow your heart, follow your heart. But I was on the honor roll. And if I would have...
You wasn't trying to mess up them grades.
I wasn't trying to mess up those grades and get a beating. No, I'm not 14, but still. And so I made a very hard choice that, now when I look back, I kind of regret, but...
So you made the changes?
I made the changes, but I cried. I made the changes. I got my B for it, and I never felt so, stripped inside.
Yeah.
Like, I gave in,
And she could at least gave you an A for making you change your art,
exactly,
right?
I should have gotten that. I should have gotten that. But yeah, I had no idea. And then I was more writing, broadcasting, and that's what I went to college for. But I think what really was the major change for me was that I got raped, and I think my art is an expression of what happened to me.
Okay.
But I just didn't know that was going to happen. And I never knew my KATORI kids were
And this was when?
So this was when I was 23.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to be a virgin.
Oh,
I was trying to
okay.
get married and be a virgin all the way to that time. But yeah, and so KATORI Kids really comes from that space of expression, but in a really amazing, happy way.
Don't worry about it. Keep going.
Oh, okay.
It's raw.
So
Yeah.
I had no idea, and it took a friend of mine who was entering a contest. She used to draw beautiful angels, and the first prize would be going to Italy.
Wow.
And so I decided I was going to do that. And my first KATORI Kid that I did, I just went to the store.
KATORI Kids, because I don't think we explained what that is your art.
Right, my illustrations.
Okay.
That's what I draw. And now I'm doing KATORI, just KATORI adults. But
Okay.
anyway, that's a different story. But I just went to the store, bought canvas, whatever, and some paint. And I really didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying to remember what I did in high school.
Yeah.
And I just created.
And this is in your 20s at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like 26 maybe.
Okay.
I gotta figure out the numbers, but I
that
just
range.
started to, in that range, maybe it was still like 24 or 25, but I started to draw. I went to bed and I had a vision because I wanted my girlfriend so much, my really dear friend, to win, because I knew in my heart she was gonna win. So I just started painting and painting. I painted actually with my left hand, and that's really significant because I used my right hand because I was in school and they made me use my right hand, but
Yeah.
I'm really lefty, but
Wow.
you would never know because I use my right hand for everything. And so I just decided to join my left hand, and I didn't sleep at all, did it. It was called Grandma's Love. She won.
Wow.
The long story short, she won. She got a trip to Italy, and I got third place.
Nice.
And when I was drawing this picture, it's a picture of my grandmother, and you guys haven't seen it. I don't think I've ever exposed it. Holding a smock, because my great grandmother, I used to always pull it down as a little girl. But when I did it, it was like a release of this innocence that I had in me that I felt that was lost, and that was the beginning. I still didn't know why or the journey, until recently, years. But that was the beginning of my expression of the loss that I felt.
Okay. And before we get current, could you, because this story that I know about that you shared with me as far as your art, because when we met, there was a big gap between when you were pursuing art and when we met, you were just about to start pursuing it again. Could you explain to our audience why you took about, how many years was it off?
So I started painting in like 1999, around that time.
Yeah.
And then I ended up stopping because I was in a show. I was in a show that I didn't even know I really didn't belong in. A friend of mine was looking out for me, and they were like, "Oh, there's this show. It was in New Jersey. Blah 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 blah." So hopped in my car because it was a deadline. Brought like one of my biggest pieces at the time, and went in there. And back then, you used to have to go bring your art and be in front of like 3 or 4 people when you're going to do an art show. And then they kind of judge it right then and there. You bring it and you could go home with your piece, or you just see artists going in, the ones rejected going back out to their car with their artwork. Yeah. And then if you came out empty-handed, it's like, okay, you got to accept it. So I went in there. I really didn't even know the title of what the show was going to be. And the jury that was there, they were like, nobody liked the artwork except for this one lady. And apparently, I guess she was in charge because she was like, it's going to be in the show. Okay. And so I was like, oh, okay, dropped it off. So the day of the show, and there was also like a competition, my artwork, when I walked in, I was mortified because the whole place was filled with all this beautiful, fine art. Work.
We'll get into that word, fine art. But go ahead.
Okay, so I don't know, but to me it wasn't like mine.
Oh, okay.
All. So I'm like, oh my goodness. And then at the very end was my KATORI kid.
Okay.
And it just didn't fit in. It didn't fit in with the flow. It was.
But you felt that way?
When I walked in, I saw immediately the difference.
Okay.
Because the artwork was so realistic that you saw on the walls.
Gotcha.
And then mine was like, my art looks more like a cartoon.
Gotcha.
So there it was. I was like, okay. But hey, and it ended up being like maybe around 200 people. And I sat down and people started to walk by my artwork and started to make comments. They didn't even care they didn't know I was the artist, but they didn't care. They started laughing at it, saying, what is this artwork doing here? Giggling, saying, oh, that looks terrible. And I was like, oh my God, I had never had, someone saying that to me. And so many people said that. Yeah. And I actually got up and went in the bathroom and cried.
Wow.
Because I had put my heart out there, and it really, because at the time, it was like, okay, I didn't go to school for art. So then I was like, wow, this is really showing the fact that my art sucks. That's what I was feeling at the time. And when I came out the bathroom, I stayed in there actually until the whole art show was over. Wow. And then I came out and I was like, people were taking their artwork down. Yeah. And as I was taking it down, this little girl came running over. Was like, mommy, daddy, I want that. And she was pointing to my art. And for that moment, I felt so good. And I felt like Spirit said, see, you're not painting for everybody, right? People will appreciate your work. And this little girl sees the value in your art and she likes it. Whether it's just a color, little girl, and she was like, oh, it looks like me, mommy, I want that.
She connected with it.
And she connected, and the parents came over. And at that time, I only had like maybe 8 or 9 pieces, so I wasn't about to, and I just wanted to get the heck out of there. I was so embarrassed. I didn't even want anyone to see that it was mine. And they gave me the number and everything. Until this day, that's my one regret, that I never called, because I shut it down. Yeah. I did it twice, but that was the first time I shut it down. So I stopped. And then again, my girlfriend died, and she's been wanting a piece forever. So then that's when I started to paint again. In 2013, I started painting again.
So from 99, you stopped until 2013?
Well, no, I stopped. Maybe I did a couple more pieces because I have quite a few, maybe.
And not even stopped painting, but stopped exhibiting
stopped
it.
Exhibiting. Yeah, I stopped exhibiting it. So then in 2013, I started to paint a little bit more. And then in between the New York Times, I entered another exhibition. In the New York Times, there was a reporter that came and made a comment, and that just tore my whole world apart. Again,
what was the comment, if you don't mind?
And if I could remember, I'm probably gonna get the quotes, but it was saying about, never mind that out of hundreds of people, I got chosen out of, select a few. Yeah. But the fact that, and then out of that, they chose to write an article maybe about 8 people, and I happen to be one. And my grandmother says, bad news is good news. It doesn't really matter. But it just said something about they hoped that my work was cartoony on purpose. Okay. Similar to that. And that was it. Yeah. And that was shut it down, discouraged me until I met you.
Okay.
And then you was the person. And yes, I am going to say this live. I want everyone to know that this man right here made me feel so good about my artwork. Evan, of course, my love, he definitely did too. But to have this venue, to be encouraged, and Evan kept on telling me, you could do it. I mean, he was in love with my artwork right away.
Yeah.
But, you know, I didn't want to. I was like, no, I don't want to. But when I met you and you gave me the opportunity, and you were like, you know, you told me the key thing that hit me right in my heart, it was like, maybe that wasn't the venue for you.
Yeah.
You know, and you told me, you know, basically that, you know, you were going to let me put my artwork up. And from that point on, it's been.
And that's such a good lesson for everybody out there that because I'm sure there's people listening, artists that maybe feel how you feel. Maybe they come do shows and maybe they feel there's artists that, you know, I don't say better or worse, but just maybe they feel artists are on a different level for them. But you can't let it discourage you. You got to just kind of continue because, you know, who's to say the opportunities you missed out because you let people.
Absolutely.
I mean, you move on and you're doing good now, but you always got to think about that to share that story so other people out there won't lose that gap of time.
And that's what I tell people too that I meet. If I see somebody doing artwork or something like that from that part, I'm just like, you know what? You know, first of all, it's like, and I think you said some other things to me too. And another thing you said to me is that, you know, basically artwork is subjective. You know, people basically, you know, everybody likes it, different things. You know, but it's like to have that courage to still be able to just put it out there. You know, because you never know who it's gonna touch.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Mm-hmm. So you really got me. Evan was the one that's behind the scenes, like pushing me, but you gave me the venue so that I can actually do it, and I felt so good. I'm gonna tell you, to have my artwork up there, I felt so good, and I realized it was what I needed to click. I needed the opportunity to put something up there and not care what anybody thought about it. Not care at all. So when I see other people that are a little shy, and I mean, Evan always does this when he speaks to people who are just, you know, starting out.
Yeah.
But I really say, you know, guess what? Because all those years that I didn't pick up a paintbrush, I was like dying inside.
I could imagine.
You know, because I was just like, you know,
you weren't doing what you love to do.
Exactly, and I love it, and I love doing it. So that's my word. Just keep on going and just keep on doing it, and don't let anybody discourage you. I look back now and say, why did I even think that? But it was too too personal for me.
But thanks for sharing that. I want to talk about what you guys are doing now, but also we can segue that, like you said, how as far as with fantasy and color, and I appreciate that. And I always tell you guys, like, I mean, like I said, I don't want to take so much credit. I'm glad I could do that, but I never saw it in the way of being like that story you told about that show when you went and they picked. Those seem like gatekeepers to me.
Yes.
And I never got into this to be a gatekeeper. I mean, to be honest with you, I had just started a year and a half before that. To be honest with you, so I was new. I created this platform because I mean, at the end of the day, you could look back at my work then and I could say the same thing. I could say that I wasn't on the level that I could have been. There's people better than me, but it didn't stop me. And I think with me, and I have to thank my family for that, because that's where you get a lot of that. Mm-hmm. I do, because like I said, I look back at a painting and go, oh my God, that was horrible. I thought I was the next thing since Dolly. But I do have that. I've always had the confidence to just go to try things and just do things, especially creative things. So, and that goes back to my family. I don't think I've ever was discouraged. Mm-hmm. I probably was meant to seem more brilliant than I was, which helped me to just kind of do things blindly, you know what I mean, and then get good at it. But before you guys tell us what you guys are doing now, could you explain? Because I always say, Evan, how you say I was a big thing for you. So I was doing these shows in Harlem. By the time I met you, I was doing it for maybe a matter of months at that point. It was still early, but. To be honest with you, it was just I was an artist, and I wanted a platform for myself and people like me. So honestly, that's really all it was. It was just creating a platform for myself and people like me. What you did was kind of put the battery in my back to make me feel like I was doing something. Well, letting me know that I was doing something special for the community, and how it wasn't just the norm. Maybe in my naive mind, I thought this was the norm. I don't know. Right. And then you kind of, because I really wasn't in this art scene. Right. Maybe probably I really had just dived in very recent to knowing you guys. So, but when you kind of made me realize, no, you're doing then I realized, okay, maybe I'm doing like some Renaissance shit, and
Oh yeah.
So I thank you for that. So give us your interpretation of when you kind of first walked into fantasy, because I was very blasé blah about it, like, oh yeah, no big deal. I mean, because it was just like, yeah, come in. That's what I wanted. So like, even when you asked him to be a part, I was like, yeah, of course,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
He did not hesitate at all.
No, but
I think he was like looking at me like,
no, but I'm like,
wrong with me? I'm kind of crazy.
No, I mean, and my that's what I always tell. I always tell people, like, I get a lot of. And it's just but people don't notice I'm very shy. So like when people praise me and shit, that makes me uncomfortable. I'd rather you argue with me than just sit there and praise me. But at the end of the day, I know that a platform is everything, and I also know that like with the creative people, that it's like we have that. It's just like we hide sometimes. We could really hide so much that it stops us from doing things. And I know if I make this platform, it's like, of course you can do it. Oh, you rap? Of course you could. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll find out later you don't rap that great. but you know what? But you know what? But maybe you'll get better.
Right.
Maybe you'll get it. Maybe you need to come do it and bomb a little bit.
But Rob, you are changing lives. Absolutely. That is what you're doing. You changed my life. So
you hear that, Mom? I didn't even finish college. You
are changing lives because you see, it may not have seemed like when you tell people to come on in and do it like that, it might be like, oh, you're doing because that's coming from your heart, that's your passion. But, because you did this, and I'm sure there may be other people who might not have said something to you, or maybe they have, because you've done this and given them this platform, they've moved forward, and doors have opened for them because of that. Yeah. And because you have been able to do that, it's like you touched the lives of people, and now they're able to even grow or learn or express even more.
Okay. Thank you. I mean, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I
so
think
you will always be. I'll always be rah you, whether you like it or not. I'm rah. I'm waiting to get it so that I can put it on and get it on getting in writing on paper.
I know.
Thank you.
I'm like, go Evan,
You feel like he's turning red.
What's good is
okay, y'all cook real quick. Y'all good though, but just everybody does it. But watch the bacon at the table. Everybody does it.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good though.
I do it a lot.
Yeah, I think it's important to realize that, artists have a journey that, while the internal journey is constant, the outside journey sometimes becomes hard. Yeah. And when we don't get the praise or the support we want, it creates that sheltered going into kind of a chrysalis experience, because you want to bring out your best, and not everyone can see what that best is. And I think we're in this space now where, when I met you, I can speak for myself.
Walk into the door. What was tell us that experience. And let's shout out Robin Baxter too.
Yeah, shout out to Robin Baxter. She kind of stopped me as I was hightailing it on my bike uptown, and just told me she was in a show. And I knew Robin from us doing body art. But went to the show, and it was
Raw Space Gallery,
and it was refreshing in the sense that it was a young energy, refreshing in the sense that what I saw on the walls represented a variety of expressions. It wasn't one genre, it wasn't one style. Even the cultural diversity in the space was good. I love to see brown faces, with artwork. So when I went in there, I was kind of feeling a little jaded about sharing my art with a large group or organized group. Okay. And after, some experiences I've had, I just was like, not so much my flow. But when I met you, I knew that there was a need for a larger community of artists to connect with. Without the politics. Yeah. And you didn't come with the politics. It was just like, yo, you got art, I'm feeling you, come through. And it was just that easy. And I think that ease of acceptance does something to people. And that's the platform that I see.
But shouldn't that just what it be? Like, why is that so special that I accepted people?
Because we're always rejected. When you experience rejection, and then you have someone saying, come on in, it's like, You know, you kind of look behind your back if you're from New York, like if I was
Like,
about
wait,
to
what?
yeah.
What's the catch?
But I always tell people, how was I ever gonna achieve this without doing that?
Right, but see, that's your approach, and that's what makes your path and Fantasy and Color. Shout out to you
So
as well,
unique.
Christy. So unique because you could have followed the methods of other organizations and had this, you know, this judge jury decision making, and
Yeah.
while that can be good in a sense of you controlling what the public sees, I think it's more important to just accept. And what you're doing, this young artists that need that support. They're not getting it from their families, they're not getting it from their schools, they're not getting it from their jobs, or maybe even their loved ones. And what I've witnessed, both having my art up there or just being in that environment, are people feeling a sense of community.
Yes.
And I think there's a healing element to that for each and every artist. There's no competition. That too, you know, the competitive edge.
Even if it is, it's so friendly that you wouldn't even know it.
Right.
It's just more in driving each other than competition.
Exactly, but you don't create that environment where you walk in and it's competition.
Oh no, not at
That
all.
alone, once again, it breaks down our own walls that we build up as artists to protect ourselves.
Nobody
and I think,
feels bougie either.
A lot of art. That's a good point. So a lot of art shows, if you don't, things have changed a lot with the culture of pop-up art shows.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like a lot of art shows, you'll see people where the artists aren't talking to each other,
Right.
Because you know, like you said, it's bougie. It's a bouginess. Some people don't even have the credit or the credentials to be bougie, and they act bougie.
right. Usually the bougie ones
Just
are
started painting.
insecure.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's what it was, and you know, and. It's hard for me to take credit, man. It was just meant to happen. Like, I don't know how you write. What our show was just always people spoke and people came and networked. I've seen so many things spawn that I know happened from that room.
Absolutely.
Relationship, like people, just, you know.
Collaboration.
Look, our friends Kyrie and Rosette. I take
Yes,
full credit.
sure.
Man. My mother tries to take credit because Rosette is kind of a part of my mother's organization too. But she's really, you know, she's Fantasy and Color.
yeah.
But my mother be trying to rep her with the phenomenal women. I'm like, whatever. But anyway, so let's okay. That was a nice recap. Let's get it off of me for a while. Because right now, present day, I always tell people, I'm just the face of the company. Christy handles all
We
the
know
work.
where the power's at.
If
We know it's
anybody
a
sent
balance.
the email in the last year, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
You know.
But that's the
But
team. That's the power.
exactly. Yeah, she's the organizer. I'm not organized. I don't like doing things organized. I like doing things not organized. I like winging it and just.
Yeah.
It's that
I'm
like
like, write
like
it
the show.
down.
It's like the show. It's
Like
like
a
I'll call
beer.
my friends. I have the DJ. I have the thing. Oh, do the show. Yeah, boom. You know who's performing. We'll figure it out. You know
Right.
that's just my thing. So let's focus on what you guys are doing as far as I don't even think we mentioned 320 body art and what that is and what you guys done with the WOW project. And what you guys doing going forward. Let's.
Katori and I connected because of art. Her Katori kids definitely woke me up to a new style that I love. But we found a balance in our talents through body art. And 320 Body Art is our company. Our mission as 320 Body Art is to adorn, celebrate, and heal the body with art. That is our mission. We do it in a unique way in the sense that we don't just do body art. All the body art is custom designed. I don't come in with palettes or templates saying this is what I paint, so you tell me what you want and we rock with it. We take pride in that some of our compatriots or, other body artists, it's about nudity, it's about, the full body. As a graffiti artist, I always look for location. I didn't have to paint the whole train. I just needed that prime spot to bring attention.
Got you.
So I brought, a lot of principles of graffiti art into my body art. And it's about location, that one prime spot to bring attention. But what Katori brings is a whole nother level, is she brings the spa treatment.
Yes.
And that's
I've made a
where
lot of jokes about this spa treatment.
it's a next level. And people have testified that they've traveled when she does her thing. So what she does is I guess you could talk about what you do.
So basically, while Evan is doing the artwork, I do guided meditation, I do Reiki, healing touch, and I sometimes use crystals or aromatherapy. But again, people are going on a journey, and this inward journey while Evan's doing the outward work at the same time. So there's something like spiritual happening in this, and people have come out of this whole experience in different ways. Like some people, they end up traveling to different places in their mind. Some people, this is the first time they get a chance to sit still and really take that moment in their stillness to think about things in their lives. And this can range from anywhere from 15 minutes to 3 minutes to 20 minutes, all in that short amount of time. This magic is happening between the feeling of the brush stroke and also in their mind traveling. And so we have done so many things doing this that people really enjoy this experience. We also take it to our studio where people can get like a back treatment at the same time. They can also get a facial at the same time. The whole idea is to just be able to just relax. And we have people who they're looking at us like, we don't want to sit in this chair, like what does this mean, but they like the idea of the massage part of it, the hands-on, and so they'll say, oh, I'll give it a try. It's just an experience that it's hard to explain. You just have to go through it and see what it is.
We've been given the brand of the paint and pamper professionals.
That's right.
We come to the space with this 320, the science of the number 320, as opposed to 360 or any other numbers.
Everybody says 360.
Yeah. 320s is what connects us spiritually and astrologically, because we're both born on March 20th. So the 3 and the 20 is really our celebration of the Piscean energy that we bring to the table. And what this 320 body art has done for me personally as an artist is it has taken me outside of my studio.
Okay.
When I'm painting on canvas, it's me and a canvas. And when I'm mad at the canvas, I can put it up and they don't have to look at it for a year or two. But with body art, there's a level of presence. It's now.
Yeah.
Spontaneous.
Every brush stroke has to happen now. I can't be like, yo, come back in an hour, I'll be ready.
Yeah.
They want it now.
It's there,
So
how long is a normal session? Because sometimes
5
we do
minutes.
it. Yeah, about to say
about
at an event.
Yeah, when we're doing it publicly, if we don't have a client, about five, between 5 and 7 minutes.
And sometimes it could go to 15. Yeah, it really it depends. And we've been hired to do different venues. I mean, we've done things in clubs when the music is loud and people are dancing, having a good time. And then we've done things where it's quiet outside. Very nice and in out in nature. We've done things in stores. So things are just really.
I remember one year y'all were everywhere. Every time.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, we were
2016.
everywhere.
Two things, maybe 2 events a day sometimes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was crazy. Evan's done about over 1,000.
Oh yeah, we have over 1,000 body art designs.
Yeah.
Take pictures of everything, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Take a look at our Instagram at 320 body art. Take a look at what we've done. And what this has done is, once again, it's taken me outside of my studio, and it's connected. There's a human connection. When you're painting on skin, it is like nothing, no other surface. I mean, I can see the beauty. There's a space where the light goes under she knows all the technical terms, but goes underneath the skin and bounces back up.
Yeah.
And because I've painted so much, it's almost like the skin illuminates. So the techniques that I've learned just through painting the body, every body's different. The oil,
age, I'm sure is different.
The textures, the colors.
Yeah.
So it's just, I have to be so present in the body art experience that I've never done something in that way. And what this has done is it's allowed us to segue into larger projects, kind of going into what we've accomplished last year.
That's what I was going to ask you about the 100.
With the 100 Words of Wisdom exhibit. And we were given a grant by Arts Westchester to perform a project that engages the community.
Okay.
And, my thing is, and I'm going to put this on the microphone, I am hip-hop. Meaning that if it ain't art and if it ain't representing the hip-hop culture, it may not be for me.
Yeah.
So what we did is we wanted to introduce our body art style to a larger audience, Westchester specifically. And we wanted to do it in a radical way. So we chose to celebrate, in this project, we celebrate singers by asking them one simple question. What one word would you share with the youth of today?
Okay.
And each elder has to give an original word. You can't, once somebody said love, can't use love. So what it did is it created a dialogue between myself, KATORI, and the elders. So they gave us the word, and then KATORI would interview them to ask why that word and share why that word would be important to young people. So while she's engaging with these elders, I did the radical thing is I painted the body art. So we allowed them to not only choose the word, but also choose the color and the location.
What was the age range? So elder, what is that?
60 and up.
60 and up.
And what we were able to capture is the eldest was 102 years old.
Wow.
From Harlem, Ida Keeling, we love you. And the youngest was probably 59. They were like, I'm going to be...
We rounded up.
Yeah, rounded up. So, but what we did is through the grant, we were able to capture not just 100 elders, but 141.
Nice.
And we could have even done more, but I had to stop
Absolutely.
Evan because we were getting to our deadline for production, so it was like, okay, we've got to stop. So we have people, we want to do this project again and again and again because it comes with a whole movement, a movement to celebrate seniors, a movement for awareness so people can think about, the elders in our community, which we weren't at that time. We were like, okay, we're going to make a statement, but now it's really, really human. And I asked a lot of questions. Like some people, I even asked up to 15, 20 questions, and they talked about their life revolved around this word. So we want to, at some point, be able to write a book. We want to be able to share, because I took about 5,000 photos. So Evan and I had to fight to figure out which one.
Because it was a photo exhibition. So the end result was a photo exhibition of all the elders with the body art. So that
but
was
there's so many
and you
other
had that
pictures.
at Woolworks, right?
Woolworks was the first place in the South Bronx.
We're so kind. We have to give a
shout out to Crash and his crew.
We went to that one. That was
So
was the beginning.
since then, it went to a Blue Door in Yonkers.
About 400 people showed up for that.
Boricua College, New York Public Library, Yonkers Public Library. Currently, it's in Yonkers Public Library.
YTI.
And the power of it is this. It's about celebrating the body. It's about celebrating the elders. So KATORI not only asked the questions, but she took phenomenal pictures. And if we just took pictures of elders and put them on the walls, kids would have walked past it. They'd have been like, I'm not interested. But once they saw the body art created this bridge to really create the interest of young people, because my goal as the graphic or the body artist was to make sure every letter style was as unique as possible.
It's like graffiti style.
Yeah, definitely wanted to make sure there was highlights and shadows, and it was reminiscent of, once again, graffiti art. So I wasn't just writing words in regular font. I was making them pop because they gave me the colors to choose from. So we've had politicians, we've had immigrants, we've had veterans, educators, artisans, blue-collar workers, grandparents, great-grandparents. The demographics. We had transgender people involved. And the one thing that the unifying force was that it's about celebrating the elders. Yeah. And the one thing I'll share before we go on to the next topic is that KATORI and I have created a formula, and it's a formula that works for us. And I share with anyone and everyone. Align your passion with a purpose that's greater than you. And that's what we did. We were passionate about body art, and we aligned it with a purpose, celebrating the seniors.
I like that.
It's like, you have to do that. And when you do that, we could not have imagined when we started this journey, we were just like, body art, seniors, grant, let's get it done. And the doors that opened up, the people because the seniors, man, they are the wise ones that are just drifting off, and we're losing. You can't Google what they gave us.
No.
And we have close to 100 hours of audio interviews of just the wisdom.
What are you going to do with that?
Transcribe it for
we
the
would
book.
like to do a book. We really will, or a series,
definitely,
or a desktop book. But now that's a whole nother thing. Finding people who will, back us up in order to be able to do that, because we don't want to just do just throw it out there. We put too much love, energy, and time. It has to be right. We have people. Where's the book? Where's the book? So we have to do a book. How and when and whatever that's going to be, it will be out there. I am so determined. Evan and I are so determined that we have to. It would be injustice, because what they told us, for the show, we just took a sentence or two quotes under each picture, right? But we we have so much information, and I feel like we have like a secret, right?
Yeah.
We have all this information that people can learn from and share, and we want to put that in the book. Now, if any of the people in this program are listening, we will not share some of the things that we kept private.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
but, you know, there's a lot of information. I mean, we had some people breaking down and crying and sharing and saying, you know, often this is what happened to me. I don't want this to be in the book. So it won't be. But I think people listening to these words of wisdoms and their stories and these seniors, it's going to help some people because it really helped us. You know?
And what I would say is that I always have a hidden agenda or a selfish mode to these projects.
Not me.
I do. So this project...
just Evan, not KATORI.
That's right.
So the selfishness was that at the time this opportunity came, we had just became grandparents. So it's like, damn, I'm a grandfather. But I don't know shit. You know, it's like, what am I sharing with these young beings that is of substance? So the intent was to have all of these elders share this wisdom with my grandchildren. So we first started asking, what one word would you share with our grandchildren?
Okay.
So that created the conversation, but we realized it was bigger than our grandchildren. It was so monumental, and I have to say gotta go back to the beginning. Once again, pay close attention to the seniors. The way we got this project, the idea of painting on seniors came from KATORI's grandmother, who at the time was 95 years old. She had cooked us a dinner, a birthday dinner, and we're sitting, eating, enjoying ourselves. And as we're talking, light conversation, I asked Nana the same question. And it just came like streamed down, like, what word would you share with my grandchildren? And I'm thinking she's just going to say a word and we're going to go on and talk about something else. OG, she put down her fork and her knife and leaned back. When she did that, I kind of looked at KATORI like, yo, what did I do? Like, I thought I was going to, I thought I offended her. But you can see that when that question just gave her permission to kind of go back. And she kind of looked up and she said, focus. So her word was focus. And once again, I was thinking like, okay, I'd start digging. She was like, let me tell you why. I was like, okay, let me put it down. And for 45 minutes, this elder who would not have shared this information had that question.
I learned things about her I didn't even know.
You didn't even know, right?
Yeah.
What?
For 45 minutes, she took us on a journey. Why focus? Focus all throughout her life.
Yeah.
So what KATORI and I did, and this was before we even thought about the grant, just out of the love
idea
of
your words of wisdom.
So what we did is we said, okay, I'm a body artist. Let me paint the word focus on her hand, and KATORI painted her nails and kind of did her makeup, did a little photo shoot. We just did it for the love of the elder. And then months later, we were sitting in a grant writing workshop, and I remembered the energy of that synergy of the three of us. And I said, what if we replicate this with more seniors?
100 times.
I know, at first we said like 10.
Right.
But then, when you write a grant, when you write a grant, it has to be a wow effect to it. You say 10 elders, it's one thing. You say 100 elders, most people are saying you can't do that.
So you ended up with you used 100, but how many did?
141 we ended up doing.
Using 140.
Using 141. And we had to stop people at the door.
But y'all still called it the 100.
Because it was already branded. Like it was already out there.
But that's a good segue, because we're going to get ready to wrap up. Before we do, we're going to know what you're doing right now. And it's a similar situation. You're supposed to be on a certain number, but you're not, right? So let's take us to what you're doing right now.
Okay, I'll be brief and she'll jump in when necessary. Okay, so we want our art. We want to introduce ourselves to the community based upon our art.
Okay.
We don't want to just be artists to just do art for ourselves. It's how we can engage the community. So the first project, we engaged the seniors. Because of that, we got so much attention, so much love, so much support. How can we involve more of the community? So we went back to the drawing board. There was another grant from Arts Westchester. We wrote a grant. This time it was Yonkers based. It had to be just Yonkers. So we came up with a concept called the Yes Yonkers Community Quilt Project. And what that is, it's a project, the intent is to celebrate Yonkers and give everybody permission to celebrate. And the way they celebrate it is each person is given a 10 by 10 canvas swatch, and we're providing some art supplies, which are paint markers, to just celebrate Yonkers. You can draw a picture, you can do abstract, you can draw a landmark,
You can write
poem,
Or write
words,
words.
whatever you want to do, as long as it is not offensive, derogatory, racist, or anything, it's going to be embraced.
Okay.
These canvas swatches, we are going to take them and combine them along with fabrics from around the world and other communities to create a quilt.
Okay.
And the idea is to create the largest, our goal is to create the largest quilt in Yonkers history. And it's quite doable. It's not the type of quilt that goes on your bed. It's fabric with these pieces of artwork. And what do you want to
It's
say?
all right. So it's a quilt, it's a flag. Somebody said this. It's a
a
quilt,
banner.
it's a flag, and it's a banner.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
in one. Yeah.
So that's
And you want to get, the idea was to have 100 people part of that as well?
yes.
And then Mr. Bishop here.
Yes, guys.
Where are you at now?
We're at 200 and probably 15.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
so
our goal is to
keep
get
going.
1,000.
So
And
now
more.
you want to put that on the record, 1,000?
No, the grant knows that we've already we've fulfilled our obligations
Yeah,
for the
the
grant.
grant.
Okay.
We just want to make it bigger. Why? Because it's doable. Because of the reputation we have in Yonkers now as this team, this partnership of community artists. We want to get the schools involved. We want to get the seniors back involved. And we have a great network in Yonkers that 1,000 is quite doable.
So who can be a part of this project?
So anyone could be a part of it as long as you love Yonkers, you've been to Yonkers, you have family in Yonkers, you have any projects in Yonkers.
Or you want to
Does anybody
celebrate?
you
love
wanna
Yonkers?
celebrate
Sorry, that's a
Yonkers.
Yonkers joke. Sorry, I'm from Harlem. Excuse me.
All right. But you know, it's something
free.
that it's free. It's definitely free. So and we just want people to come out and create in any way that they can think of creating and meet other people and just we have what we call creation stations. So if you look out for creation stations, on Instagram is at Yes Yonkers and on Facebook is Yes Yonkers. But we have these creation stations at different venues and you come out, you sit down, you could take as little as 5 minutes. I mean, somebody just wrote their name, you know, but it takes 5 minutes to 15 minutes, or you could just sit there and enjoy yourself and rock out.
Yeah. I mean, it's important because at the end of the day, I think as many people, it just makes the whole project that more powerful.
Absolutely.
This is more energy that goes into, you know, that one particular piece.
And if I can say something once again, going back to my hip hop roots, the emphasis of this was going back to what was established with the early founders of hip hop, which is peace, love, unity, and having fun.
Okay.
And what we realize is that a lot of Yonkers has a stigma of being divided, being segregated, because it has a history of that, and we can't erase that. But moving forward, what can we do? You know, how can we bring people together? And if we can use these art projects to bring people together, to make people feel like they're worthy of it, and the whole purpose is not just to create one quilt and put it in one location.
Right.
We're going to create this large quilt, and then we're going to section it off and share it with different parts of Yonkers. So it'll encourage people to travel. If you want to see the whole quilt, you can't go to one museum.
Yeah.
You got to go to different places. If your child created a swatch and you're in South Yonkers, well, that swatch may be in North Yonkers. So it encourages tourism, it encourages travel, it encourages unity. And that's, if we can use our art to heal the world in that way, then I think we're playing
All right.
a part.
And people being a part of it is now going to be a part of history.
Yes.
Because this is something that, you know, you can tell your children, or when you get older and you go look for the spot, like, oh, this is what I did. Because we want to create a legend. With people who want to remain anonymous, that's fine. But people who want to have their names on it, they'll have their names. So it's like a time capsule.
All right, so just real quick, if people want to be a part of it, how do they contact you? What's the best way to contact you guys?
yesyonkers@gmail.com. This way we can send you the upcoming pop-up creation stations and the schedule. Just to let you know, October 20th, we will be at Ridge Hill from 12 to 3. It's open to the public. It's free. Come out to Ridge Hill Shopping Center and represent.
Well, I'm glad you guys came. We like to talk music on the show too. So very quickly, I need to know your top 3 MCs of all
Oh
time.
my gosh.
As far back as you want to go.
Blast
Can you play the
Master.
MC game?
No,
Ready,
he-
Without
he
question,
can play
Blast
it.
Master KRS One.
That's your number one?
Number one. Without
Give me number
question.
2.
Number
can't.
2, I would have to say in my flow is Talib Kweli.
Okay. Number 3.
Nas.
Nice.
Nice.
You got anybody? All
Hey,
right.
hip-hop.
I'm not hip hop, but he's got me to
All right.
Nas.
All right. Give me your favorite R&B, your top 3 R&B singers.
Oh my gosh, why are you doing this to me?
Any
Oh,
years.
I love Maxwell.
All right, Maxwell, give me 2 more.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But then see, I'm old school too.
No, so what?
So,
That's fine.
I mean, but then I love Shaka Khan.
Okay,
2.
one more.
And oh my gosh, this is, you don't understand. I love too much. I'm new age.
Just give
too.
us one more. Give us one new age.
Oh my gosh, I can't even think right now.
Erykah
This is
Badu?
pressure. Erykah Badu, thank you.
Erykah Badu. There you have it, guys. Make sure you go
Surgery.
follow them. Quick Instagrams.
Evan Bishop Art, 100 Wow Exhibit, and Yes Yonkers and 320 Body Art, all Instagram.
Okay, all that, and Instagram Walker KATORI, and Facebook KATORI Walker,
And KATORI Kids
and KATORI Kids
on Instagram.
Thanks, guys. You can follow us at Fantasy and Color NYC or the Fantasy and Color Podcast on Instagram. It's been a great episode.
Shout out to Christy and Rob.
Woohoo!
Thank you for the dinner.